Alright, part 3 on the video series of playing a lead sheet well. So we first talked about inversions, and then we talked about finding an inversion, you know, two different chords. What's the easiest way to get to two different chords? So here's C and here's G. Right? C, G. C, G. Alright. So, here's the third part of this video series. How do you make it to where it's not just block chords? You know, you're not just going bum, 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 bum. I mean, it fits, but it's not very good, right? Alright. So, now we figured out you can just connect the chords in different ways. But you might be going there saying, Andy, that's great, and I'm learning things, but it still kind of sounds blocky. You know, I'm just doing this for 2 beats, and then switching to D for 2 beats, and then going to E minor for 2 beats, and then I'm to C, and I don't know how to, you know, what do I do? All right, here's a trick. You need to understand that this piece of paper that has the chords on it, that says G, D, E minor, C, this is just a structure, all right? This is just saying G, G, and then D, D. So anything in between G and D here, I can play anything I want to, even notes that aren't in the chords, as long as they sound good. And so long as I end up on D by that third beat, right? So I'm just gonna let you see this. Here's the G, D, right? 1, 2, 3. I ended up on the D on that 3. I played all these notes in the middle. Bum, 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 bum. This note is an E. It's not in the middle. It's not in the key of G or D, right? I played it anyway. It's called a passing tone. Right? Well, all I'm doing is making sure that by the first beat, like where that E minor is, or where the C, anytime the chord changes, basically, that's where I'm coming back to that chord. And I'm going, okay, here's E minor, bam, go to E minor. Here's C. I'm going to make sure I'm on that C by that third beat, because that's where I need to be on that C, right? I need to make sure I hit that. But anytime between those chords, anything you want to do, so long as it is within the boundaries of sounding good, which typically means you're going to play it in whatever key you're playing it in. In this case, we're playing in the key of G, right? So typically, I'm not going to play like an A sharp in there anywhere. I guess that's kind of funky. It sounds kind of cool. See, you can experiment however you want, whatever sounds good. It's kind of weird, you know. Maybe your audience wouldn't be expecting that, you know. So waking people up a little bit. So a good way to practice figuring out how to do that, letting go of it. You know, now you've got the G and you went down to the D. All right, so figure out what can I do. You want to figure out what can I put in here between this G and this D? You got 2 whole beats. 1, 2, 3. That's a lot of space, right? So now you can go, right? Put some triplets in there like I just did. You can do, you know, make it very soft and simple, straightforward. Whatever you want to do. And there's all kinds of tricks that I'm putting in here, you know, like triplets, and that was a trill, you know, a grace note. One of the good exercises to get into is to play the melody and the chords at the same time in the piano, and that way you get used to figuring out what your hands can do, because your hand is forced to play both the melody and the chord at the same time, and so you get used, you build out those neural pathways, right? So here's the song Let It Be. I didn't even play it right. I messed up there. You can see, but when you make mistakes like that, and then you have to quickly recover, you know, that's another thing, is playing live with people all the time, and you're forced to quickly recover like that. That will build up. You know, oh gosh, I'm on G. I should be on C. How do I get there really quickly? Very quickly, like that. nothing that can replace time sitting in front of the piano and just exploring, or any instrument that you're playing, just sitting there and exploring it. There's nothing that can replace that. You can read all the books in the world about playing the piano, and you can watch all the videos you want to, but until you sit there and, you know, you explore, and you go... That's another good exercise to get into, is the idea of give yourself a framework, like a scale, like C, for instance, and say, okay, I can play anything I want to, except anything that's outside of the scale of C. So I'm only playing the white notes in this case, right? So I'm going to play whatever I want to and just see what it sounds like, you know. And if you hit something that sounds weird and you're like, oh, that sounds weird, don't give it up immediately, you know. Can you resolve it and make it sound cool? Right? Can you do the same thing on top and change the bottom? Can you break it up instead of playing all those all at once? Can you go? Okay, I cheated there. I used 2 black notes, you know, because I'm used to this, and I'm used to just allowing my hands to do whatever they want to do. I may actually use that in an idea. That's pretty cool. Experiment with a time signature that you're not used to, you know. Do 3/4 if you normally play in 4/4, you know. That's 4. Let's see. Excuse me, you get the picture. Alright? So, any other questions, please feel free to leave them for me on Facebook. You can hit me up at facebook.com/jumpoffthepage-piano, or you can comment there on YouTube if you're watching this on YouTube, or send me an email at acgrawl@gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to get with you. So, that's the end of that.